Next up, as we say, it is the big rigs, British Truck Racing Championship out for race 3 of the weekend. Of course, the name on everyone's lips this year, Ryan Smith, Flying Ryan, going for an incredible 9th consecutive title in Division 1 this year. Will anyone be able to stop him? He opened the season with 2 wins. He led all the way ahead of David Jenkins in both races yesterday, while in Division 2, for the slightly less powerful trucks, it was a double win for Paul Rivett, the reigning champion there in his MAN. We'll see them out on the grid in a moment. We will have a reverse grid for this race today. Now this year we don't line up the divisions separated. So we'll see Division 1 and 2 mixed together on the grid. It's first weekend of the year for the British Truck Racing Championship. A big thank you to all the partners of the championship in 2024 as well. They are TRP Parts, UK's largest range of all makes of truck and trailer parts, GT tyres, the BWOC, bulk fuel supplier, providing renewable diesel deliveries and carbon neutral fuel. Transport monitoring solutions, Truck and Driver magazine and Freuhauf trailers. Just some of the partners involved in British truck racing this year, and a big thank you to them for all their support as always. So 2 double wins yesterday. Now, those grids were set by the qualifying session in the morning, the first and second fastest time for each driver. Now we go into reverse grids for the weekend. 12 trucks here this weekend. The top 8 on each grid will be in reverse. This first race of the day, based on the results of race 1 yesterday, with the top 8 flipped around. The 8th place finisher was Paul Rivett, the Division 2 winner, so he will be in pole position for this next race. Can we see him stay in front? Will we see a Division 2 truck win overall? Can't remember the last time that happened. Last few years we have run them from split grids, with the Division 2 trucks starting in a separate group behind the Division 1s, but they're mixed in together this year. Of course, at one time we did run separate races for Division 1 and 2 as well. Ryan Smith, that means, the double winner yesterday, will start from back in 8th place on the grid. He won race 1 yesterday ahead of David Jenkins. Then it was the Olivers, father and son, but it was son ahead of father this time. And Michael Oliver was very proud to have beaten his father Stuart, the 10 times British champion, 1-time European champion as well. Stuart had some problems in qualifying yesterday, had a fuel leak, but started back in 6th on the grid. But fought his way through to 4th. He got past John Bowler and Stephen Powell. They were 5th and 6th in race 1. Stephen Powell, the local man to Brands Hatch, lives just down the road, debuting a new MAN, we believe, this one, certainly a new livery for this year. And also a warm welcome back to David Smith, no relation to Ryan, incidentally. David, a former Division 2 champion way back in 2012. His first truck race meeting for almost 8 years this weekend, having bought one of Ryan Smith's fleet of trucks. He's bought an MAN on his local circuit here in Kent as well. He was 7th in race 1 yesterday. It was Paul Rivett in 8th. And the other runners this weekend, Neil Yates, 2nd season in truck racing for the Recovery Company boss. Another Kent-based driver, plenty of local racers too, Brands Hatch. Alongside him is certainly not a local racer on this grid. Tom O'Rourke from Livingston in Scotland, the boss of MV Commercials. New truck for him this year as well, the International Navistar, the bonneted truck, similar in appearance to Ryan Smith's Daimler Freightliner. Completing the field this weekend, the other 2 runners in Division 2. Simon Cole in the Pink Panther, his Iveco. Always a fan favourite, the man who used to race the Mercedes-Benz, or Mercedes Beast as he used to call it. And also John Powell. Now John was involved in a bit of a scrape in race 1 yesterday with Paul Rivett, picked up some damage and didn't make it out for race 2, so hopefully John Powell's team have been able to repair his DAF LF, and the Black Machine will be back out for this race today. Just waiting for the circuit to be made ready for the trucks. Of course, the marshals will have to be moved back off their post. You can see on the left of your screen there that they've all moved to a position of safety. And now the truck's being led out in the background by the TRP pace truck, as you can see from the outer paddock. I must say a big thank you to all our volunteer marshals, the Orange family as we call them. Could not go racing without our volunteers. If you've ever wanted to become a marshal and get up close to the action, have a look on the website BARC.net for the British Automobile Racing Club, and also marshals.co.uk for the British Motorsports Marshals Club. There's a few of our Orange family on the run-up Halewood Hill on the inside of Druids. They've moved back off their post for safety reasons. We have seen trucks go into and through barriers in the past. At Thruxton last season, you may have seen Neil Yates had a very big accident at the first corner. Thankfully, no injuries to Neil or any bystanders. So the grid confirmed then for truck race 3 of the day. It is Paul Rivett on pole in the number 22, the Napa Auto Parts MAN, alongside David Smith, number 11, the returnee this weekend in his MAN. That's the first of the Division 1 trucks. Second row, number 3, Stephen Powell, and 14, John Bowler. Third row, Stewart and Michael Oliver. And fourth row, David Jenkins, and double winner yesterday, Ryan Smith. Neil Yates and Tom O'Rourke be on row 5, and then it's Simon Cole and John Powell. Good to see John Powell is back out. He's repaired that bit of damage from yesterday. The number 6 DAF, the oldest truck on the grid, completing the field. Hopefully we'll see grid sizes rise further as the season goes on. We're hoping to see possibly Jock Borthwick, the Scotsman, back out in his tartan liveried number 32. Of course, was injured in a motorcycle accident, sadly, last season. So hoping to make a return this year. Quite a few drivers have gone to race on the continent this year. The likes of Ricky Collett, the veteran Yorkshireman, the Reed brothers from Stoke in their Ivicos. John Newell representing the UK in the European Truck Racing Championship. We're likely to see some of those back at, particularly at Donington in August for the Convoy weekend. It's a massive celebration of all things truck racing. We even saw Isle of Man TT legend John McGuinness racing a truck at that event last year. What is it with motorcycle racers and having a go at truck racing? Because of course in the heyday of the sport in the late 80s and the 90s, we had Barry Sheen and Steve Parrish racing trucks, and Steve went on to be European champion in the BP liveried Mercedes. You think we could see Valentino Rossi racing a truck one day? I mean, he's now racing GT cars, of course, International GT Open. Who else could we get to race a truck? I reckon Jonathan Ray, the multiple World Superbike champion, would be up for racing one of these things. But it is Paul Rivett, former multiple Renault Clio champion, who leads them up to the grid. Won the Division 2 championship on a tie-break last year with Adam Bint in the Volvo Whites. Adam Bint, another man racing on the continent this year. David Smith alongside him in the ex-Ryan Smith MAN. Great to have David back, very popular figure. He said yesterday, truck racers never retire. Once you've got the bug, you keep going. David Smith, he says, will be just as quick. He's just a bit greyer than he used to be, I think he said yesterday, when he was talking to our man Pointy down in the paddock. We'll hear from Pointy a bit later on. Stephen Powell on the second row in his MAN. The man from West Kingsdown, just down the road from Brands, in the colours of NYR, Neil Yates Recovery. See his teammate Neil a little bit further back on the grid. John Bowler's there in the number 14. Just one win in Division 1 last season. He moved up from Division 2 in his MAN, took a win at Thruxton. Stephen Powell failed to win last year, had a few podiums, had just one win in his Division 1 career so far, former Division 2 champion. Stuart Oliver, a 10 times champion, starts alongside his son Michael, the two GT Tyres sponsor machines, new liveries for them this year. Michael had a single win last year as well at Pembrey. There's David Jenkins and Stuart Oliver and Ryan Smith, who did most of the winning between them last year. Jenks had a couple of wins, the man from Stafford in the black and white Digraph Transport MAN. And then 8th on the grid is Flying Ryan Smith. Can he make it 3 out of 3 this weekend as he goes to that incredible 9th consecutive title? Could he overhaul Stuart Oliver's record of 10 championships? Stuart has been a European champion as well in the past. And I'm sure one day Ryan Smith wants to head into the European Championship as well. Let's see, it has the budget. You need a huge budget to do that, though. Then it's Neil Yates and Tom O'Rourke in the MV Commercial number 86, the International. Lovely looking machine that one is. Had a spin into the gravel at the start of race 2 yesterday, and we had our first ever virtual safety truck in the championship. Now the trucks are slowed, just like a virtual safety car in Formula 1 racing. And then extra time is added on at the end of the race, which confused me at first as well when the checkered flag initially didn't come out. Simon Cole in the Pink Panther and John Powell in the number 6, the black and green beast. The Dutch-built DAF complete the Division 2 ranks. They're going to have their work cut out to catch Paul Rivette, who's at the front of the grid in this one. So here we go, behind the TRP truck and trailer parts DAF. Paul Rivette's the Division 2 runner, and the weight of the world on his shoulders here. Could we see a Division 2 truck hang on and beat the Division 1s? This is going to be very interesting. The Division 2 is slightly less powerful. All these trucks 12 and 13 litre engines running on sustainable fuel, as you've seen. That was pioneered by Adam Bint in the championship. All turbocharged, water-cooled brakes, electronically limited to 100 miles per hour. On the road it's 56, of course. All these trucks have tachographs recording the data, effectively a black box on each of these trucks, making sure they don't exceed the speed limit. You'll get penalised if you do. So here we go then. First of 3 races today. David Smith's dropped back a bit there, the grid a little bit out of line. Pace truck will just slow them a bit to give him a chance to catch up. 15 minutes of racing then for the British Truck Racing Championship here on the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, the third of 5 races this weekend. Paul Rivette in the Division 2, MAN on pole position. Can he make it 3 out of 3 in Division 2? Can Ryan Smith make it 3 wins out of 3 in Division 1? David Smith seems to have disappeared. Has he pulled off somewhere? Yeah, the pace truck has stayed out, so it looks like David Smith's got a problem. There he is. He pulled out of line there. I thought he'd slowed up. Is he going into the pits? Yes, he is. That's a shame. He's due to start on the front row. They couldn't start the race, obviously, with a slowing truck on the circuit. So David Smith is into pit lane. His team will be down there, the DS Commercials truck. Red has come out, so the start is aborted. What's going to happen here? The Mini Challenge Club Sport drivers you see looking on there from the assembly area, they're up next. As David Smith brings his MAN down pit lane. Wait to see what the problem is. I suspect we will do another formation lap without him and get the race underway, and David will be able to join in from the pit lane if he's able. Team are down there to check on him. Find out what the problem is. Hopefully our pit reporter Pointy is down there as well and can tell us what the problem is with David Smith. It is his first meeting in nearly 8 years. just giving David Smith a chance there. The marshals will be talking to him. The scrutineer will be down there as well, checking that everything is okay. Somebody in our comment thread quoting C.W. McCall's famous song Convoy. I'm not going to sing it, don't worry, I'm not singing on the rolling lap. Should play it really on the rolling lap. They did at Donington one year at Convoy in the Park. There are one or two American trucks here. One of our big recovery vehicles from Mick Gould Commercials we spotted on track yesterday. The big Peterbilt, a show truck in its own right, that machine. Saw it recovering John Powell's truck yesterday. So David Smith's truck being worked on down there. Hopefully Pointy can get into pit lane and tell us what the problem is. Rest of the drivers waiting patiently. I thought there was another gap for a second there, further back on the grid. No, just Tom O'Rourke's just a bit further forward than he should be. The course car has gone out onto circuit, probably checking if David Smith's truck has leaked any fluid down there. We saw him slow, yes, going into Surtees. That's where the course car, you can just see in the background with the lights flashing, has stopped. They're checking the circuit for any fluid that may have been dropped. That's what happened at the start of qualifying yesterday when Stuart Oliver's truck was found to be leaking fuel. So maybe it's a fuel or oil leak on David Smith's truck now. Okay. Pointy apparently hasn't finished his breakfast yet, so we're told Ian is down in pit lane and can give us a bit more news. Okay, Ian Waterhouse, we're told he's down in pit lane and has got hopefully an update for us.
Yeah, welcome down to the pit lane, everybody. I don't know where Point is, so I thought we'd go run down, have a quick chat with David Smith. I overheard actually with the marshals that if he can get it going, he can start from the pit lane, but he's getting out. Let's wonder if we can just grab a very quick word with David.
It's broke a half shaft, I reckon. Broke a half shaft? Yeah, and just we get the bumper off and we just.
You want a front tire? We can do either. It's up to you.
Rear end it.
Rear end it.
Yeah, we ain't got fuck about it, have we?
Rear end it.
Yeah.
David, not ideal, huh?
Unbelievable. Just I can't believe it. First sort of front row start. Unfortunately, I think it's broke a half shaft. So, acceleration. It's just trying to steer me off the track. So, no chance.
No, it's something I did hear actually. Overhear the marshal saying if you can get it going, you can start from the pit lane. That's not going to happen, no, is it? But we've still got more races to go. Potentially fixable.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, I think it's a half shaft, so if that's all it is, we've got spare half shafts, so we'll have one in it. We're on pole for the second race, so happy days.
Top man, at least you're still smiling, that's important. Right, so there we go. Race about to go underway. Apologies if you did hear any bad language there. I'm going to hand back to Dave.
Well, thank you, Ian, and yes, apologies for any choice language there, but David Smith obviously a bit frustrated. See him back out for race 4. 11 trucks only then, a broken half shaft for the MAN, but he is on pole for race 2 as we heard. We'll see him, I'm sure, back out for that one. So attempt 2 at race 3 of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. in our comments, someone asking what was the horn we could hear in the background. That hooter goes off when a vehicle is moving in the pit lane, just to warn people down there. You'll hear it as a car or truck comes into the pit lane or leaves the pit lane. So let's try again then, with the first reverse grid of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. There's the man looking for a hat-trick, Ryan Smith. His great rival David Jenkins alongside him. They were bumping and boring right from the start in race 2 yesterday. Now Ryan's got it all to do from 8th on the grid. And like one of the two of our show trucks showing support there from trackside, the air horn sounding. John Bowler's now got a free run down the outside with no David Smith. Paul Rivett on his own on the front row in the Napa Taco Sys MAN. Simon Cole and John Powell, the other two Division 2 trucks at the back. Oh yes, I'm looking forward to this. Waiting for the pace truck to pull into pit lane. It does so. They'll be up towards the red lights. As soon as they go out, we will be underway from the rolling start. Paul Rivett, Stephen Powell and John Bowler lead them away. The power about to be unleashed as soon as those red lights go out. Race 3 of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Revs are up and they get underway. And Stephen Powell straight through the middle. You see Paul Rivett, the slightly less powerful truck, immediately overtaken by the Division 1 trucks. Stephen Powell side by side with John Bowler. They somehow squeeze 3 wide towards Paddock Hill Bend. Stuart Oliver's got ahead of his son Michael into 3rd place, but it's Stephen Powell who will have the lead as they go into Druids. He locks up big time on the inside there. Ryan Smith up on the outside of David Jenkins. And here comes John Bowler down the curb, almost down the grass on the inside of Graham Hill Bend. He backs out of it, and Stephen Powell, the number 3, has the lead. John Bowler in 2nd place. Stuart Oliver is 3rd, then Michael Oliver, David Jenkins, Ryan Smith, Paul Rivett immediately relegated back behind the quicker Division 1 runners. Tom O'Rourke getting past John Powell in the number 6. There must have been a bit of a sort out further back as well, with Tom O'Rourke having dropped behind Powell and Neil Yates as well. So they come round to complete the first lap then. It is Stephen Powell looking for the 2nd win of his Division 1 career, the former Division 2 champion in the number 3. David Jenkins attacking, nearly clips the back of Michael Oliver there, coming off Clark Curve. Ryan Smith up alongside David Jenkins. They are deadly rivals, these two. Closing on Michael Oliver. Jenkins goes for the inside, the man from Stafford in the Digraph and Morris Lubricants MAN. GT Tyres MAN just about holding them off. They could go 3 wide. Surely we're not going to go 3 wide into Druids. No, Ryan Smith thinks better of it. David Jenkins up the inside. He gets the place away, up into 4th position. It's Powell from Bowler, Stuart Oliver. Jenkins is in 4th position. We head out through Graham Hill Bend. The leader a little bit sideways through there. Ryan Smith on the back of the number 12 of Michael Oliver. Next in the order, it's Paul Rivett, the Division 2 leader. Then it's Tom O'Rourke. Then John Powell, who's up to 2nd in Division 2. Ryan Smith trying to go around the outside of Michael Oliver. It's Surtees. He won't get through there. Needs to deal with Michael Oliver fairly quickly there. You can see the steam coming off the front wheels of these trucks. That's from the water-cooled brakes. Tom O'Rourke sliding up the inside there in the 86 gets past Paul Rivett. John Powell is next. Then it's Neil Yates. Simon Cole at the back of the field. 3 trucks line astern for the lead. Stuart Oliver is in attacking mode. Could have a go at John Bowler here up towards Druids. He's having a look on the inside. He's going to get close enough to go through for 2nd. I think he is. Stuart Oliver, the veteran from Northumberland, up the inside. Leans John Bowler out wide. Bowler doesn't give way. He's on the grass again. But Stuart Oliver is through in the Volvo VNL into 2nd place. Now down to the business of trying to catch Stephen Powell. Ryan Smith still back in P6 at the moment, behind Michael Oliver. Can't get past the number 12. Michael Oliver's driven very well indeed. He had a bit of an incident-packed 2023, had a big smash at Brands Hatch at the end of the season, getting tangled up with the Reed brothers. He's driven very well indeed so far this weekend. Stephen Powell leads, but a new fastest lap of the race recorded by David Jenkins in 4th, 1 minute .236. He's closing on the top 3 now. Ryan Smith continues to attack Michael Oliver. Stephen Powell now coming under fire for the lead of the race from Stuart Oliver. John Bowler holding off David Jenkins for third. Tom O'Rourke's closing up on these two as well now. Ryan Smith is rather bottled up behind Michael Oliver. He knows his truck is quicker. He just can't get the line away from the number 12. Through Graham Hill Bend they go. Tom O'Rourke closing up behind them as well. In 8th position overall is Paul Rivett, the leader of Division 2. Stephen Powell, see the number 7 GT Tyres Volvo big in his mirror as Ryan Smith manages to make his way through. He forces his way through at Surtees up into P5. Finally just found the gap there and went for it, and Ryan Smith up into 5th, now going after David Jenkins. Jenkins has still got the fastest lap of the race. There's Tom O'Rourke in 7th, the better run for him. Had a difficult debut for his new truck yesterday, including a spin at Paddock Bend at the start of race 2. Had a spin in race 1 down at Surtees as well, but was able to rejoin both times. So half a second in it for the lead between Powell and Stuart Oliver. Might be less than that now, because down into Graham Hill Bend, he's right on the rear axle almost of Stephen Powell. Powell pulls away down the straight in the MAN. Does seem to have the straight line speed advantage, looking for the second win of his Division 1 career. First came in 2022 at Thruxton. He celebrated like he just won the championship. Windscreen wiper going on John Bowler's MAN, the man from Stockport. Don't think it's raining here at Brands Hatch at the moment. Won't say that again, don't want to put the curse of the commentator on the weather. Ryan Smith now chasing hard after David Jenkins. Is he going to do the fastest lap? Yes, 59.369 for Ryan Smith. That's the first lap under 1 minute in this third race of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Stephen Powell continues to set the pace, holding off Stuart Oliver. The only truck in the top 6 not to do a personal best that time through was Jenkins. He's still on the tail of John Bowler. Neil Yates is still there in 9th behind this man, Paul Rivett, who's still leading Division 2, and you could see off the line there the power deficit from Division 2 to Division 1. Here's the second place man in Division 2, that's Simon Cole, man from Dartford, just east of London. Another man on his local circuit this weekend. He's ahead of John Powell now, second in Division 2. And look at the way that Ryan Smith is reeling in David Jenkins, taking lengths out of his advantage. He'll go for the inside into Druids. Jenkins won't give way. He moves across, holds the place. And they're closing up on Powell as well. Still Stephen Powell it is who leads, and he's increased his lead to 1.35 seconds now. Pulled away a little from Stuart Oliver. 8.5 minutes still to go. Not even at halfway yet. Ryan Smith has still got plenty of time to make his way towards the sharp end of the field. All a question of getting the right lines. He's up behind Jenkins there. There's a squeal of tyres in the background. Whether somebody's had a moment somewhere we couldn't see. No change among the leading group. There's Michael Oliver still on his own in 6th place. Ryan Smith on the back of David Jenkins. He's doing exactly what he did to Michael Oliver earlier on. Squeezes up the inside. Couldn't tell if there was a bit of contact there. But Smith is through and up into 4th position. There's Michael Oliver. On his own now in 6th. Dropped away a little. Plunge through Paddock Hill Bend once again. Now Paul Rivett is up into 7th place. I'm wondering if it's Tom O'Rourke who's had a moment somewhere further back, because Rivett's come through in 7th. Yes, O'Rourke's dropped a place. Yes, his last lap was a 1:10. His best lap of 1 minute, so he's lost a few seconds somewhere. It must have been him who had that moment when we heard someone with a bit of tyre squeal. John Bowler now coming under fire from Flying Ryan. Just past half distance in this third race of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Ryan Smith will try and get a run on John Bowler, who went a bit wide there coming off Clearways. Windscreen wiper still flapping around on the Rochdale LGV driver training sponsored MAN. Can he hold off the Daimler Freightliner, the bonneted machine? Kind of reminds me of the old Phoenix MANs that used to compete in the European Championship in the 90s. Likes of Gerd Korber, Heinz-Werner Lenz and so on. A lot of the German racers favoured them. Bowler under intense pressure, and Smith's surely going to get the better exit there from Graham Hill Bend. He's surely going to go through into third, and he does it. Up into P3 goes Ryan Smith, now down to the business of trying to catch Stuart Oliver and Stephen Powell, who's still hanging on in the lead. It's great driving by Stephen Powell. David Jenkins now resumes the task of trying to get past John Bowler. This race results will set the grid for race 5 later on. Now, who's in 8th place at the moment? It's Tom O'Rourke, so we could see him on pole for our last race of the day. With the top 8 flipped around. The gap has come down again to 0.7 of a second, near enough. Stuart Oliver ready to attack once again. He knows Ryan Smith will be coming after them. Settling down a little at the midpoint of this race. Just beyond the midpoint now, it's over 5 minutes left. A little bit of damage you can see on the left there of Stephen Powell's truck, a little bit of a crease in the bodywork. Newly liveried Tahuna Honey and GT Tyres sponsored Volvo VNL chases after the local man. John Powell has pulled into the pits in the number 6, so further gremlins for the Division 2 runner. Picked up damage yesterday, unfortunately. Ryan Smith is now almost with Stuart Oliver. Another new fastest lap, 59.192 for Ryan Smith. Last time around. Average speed of 73.7 miles an hour around the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. And he's caught Stuart Oliver now. Brief look to the inside, not close enough. He's got 4 minutes to get past these two and take his hat trick. Over the line they go. Still your leader is Stephen Powell. Can he hold on for his first win since July 2022? Stuart Oliver going with him. We're not going to get a Caterham-style 3-wide finish, are we? Can you get 3 trucks wide around Brands Hatch? Well, they did at the start, with Paul Rivette, Stephen Powell and John Bowler. Now Stuart Oliver switching from attack to defence because he knows Ryan Smith is there behind him. Saw him drop back a little bit there through Druids. Steam pouring off his front wheels. He uses those water-cooled brakes. This could allow Stephen Powell the gap he needs here. He's escaped by a couple of truck lengths. Oliver defending, the battle of the bonneted trucks for second place. Here comes Smith, this is his favoured overtaking place up the inside. Stuart Oliver doesn't give him room, they lean on each other. Oliver goes wide, and Ryan Smith goes through into second place. Now, let's see what the gap was as they crossed the line. It was only 0.8 of a second. I reckon Smith's going to do this. I reckon he'll catch Stephen Powell. He's got 2.5 minutes to do so, a couple more laps. But he's right with the MAN now. John Bowler under fire. He's still holding off David Jenkins somehow. He's sideways there, though, off Druids. I think he'll just have the inside line for Graham Hill Bend, but all eyes are on Ryan Smith. It's not a question of if he's going to attack and try and get down the inside of Stephen Powell, but when and where. He's on the back of the MAN. Now that's where Stephen Powell needs to be careful. That's where Ryan Smith does his overtaking here at Brands Hatch through Surtees and McLaren. Powell will move to defend up the Brabham Straight. Takes the inside line. Now This is going to be a very interesting conclusion. Further back, looks like Paul Rivette's got his hat-trick in Division 2 sewn up. It's 1:45 or just over in it as they cross the line there on the clock. So we'll have a couple more laps to go for Stephen Powell to defend. And he is defending through Druids. Got to be so careful here. There's one false move, and not only will Ryan Smith be into the lead, but I think Stuart Oliver will be through to second as well. Through to Graham Hill Bend. Three of them, line astern. MAN, Daimler and Volvo. This is where Powell's got to be careful. Smith up alongside almost. He had a look there. Trying to get the inside line away for this right-hander. It's good defensive work by Powell. Oliver's having a go at Smith as well. Smith's attacking and defending at the same time. Coming round to start their final lap this time. An absorbing fight at the front. Still John Bowler as well. Full credit to him. He's still holding off David Jenkins for fourth. Over the line they go. Where is the move going to come from Ryan Smith? He's surely going to go for it at some point on this last lap. Noise in the background I can hear there. Sounds like somebody's dragging some bodywork or something. Side by side behind them, Bowler and Jenkins, but we're not going to look away from this lead battle. Through Druids, still Stephen Powell. This is a terrific defensive job. Down into Graham Hill Bend for the last time. Now he's really got to defend. He's got to make this the widest MAN in the country. Oh, and they're coming up on a back marker as well. Simon Cole, look out, Simon. Smith's up alongside. This is going to be interesting. They've met the back marker at, well, possibly the worst place imaginable. Cole has got out of their way, though, and let them through. Smith didn't get the move done at Surtees. Here they come up towards the line. Has Stephen Powell done it? One last chance for Ryan Smith to try and get up the inside. Powell's going to move to cover, and Stephen Powell's going to win it. Brilliant from Stephen Powell. He takes the win. Ryan Smith second, Stuart Oliver third. That's an excellent drive from Stephen Powell. And Ryan Smith is denied the hat-trick by 0.3 of a second. John Bowler held off David Jenkins all the way as well. Michael Oliver sixth. Tom O'Rourke will come through for seventh. Well, the checkered flag officially has gone out, but these two are still racing each other. There's no flag on the start-finish line, I assume for safety reasons, but on the timing screen, the checkered flag has been shown. Ryan Smith goes ahead of Stephen Powell. Have they? Well, there was no yellow earlier on, so they can't have added time on. The checkered flag had already been shown on the timing screen, but the driver's racing on. But the race has officially finished. There was no checkered flag shown on the start-finish line, but on the timing had counted down to 0. We'll have to confirm that in a moment then. A confusing end to our first truck race of the day. But the checkered flag officially on the timing came out at the end of lap 15 with Stephen Powell shown as the winner. They're not showing a checkered flag on the start-finish line, presumably for safety reasons because of marshals being down there. And the result I've got has Stephen Powell as the winner. But they are not showing a physical checkered flag on the finish line for our truck races. Now, as far as we have it, Stephen Powell is the winner by 0.3 of a second ahead of Ryan Smith, then Stuart Oliver in third, John Bowler holding off David Jenkins all the way for fourth place, Michael Oliver in sixth, and Tom O'Rourke seventh. Paul Rivette wins Division 2. Then Neil Yates, John Powell, Simon Cole pulled into the pits at the end of what we have as the last lap, and David Smith, unfortunately, a non-starter. Well, Pointy has apparently finished his breakfast and is down in pit lane.
Well, wow, good morning. Nice of you to join me. How the devil are we? So we're down here on the pit lane after a bit of a mix-up over that last lap, but the checkered flag like the virtual safety car was in fact out somewhere. So Steve Powell taking the first place for the race. It's been corrected on TSL. It's his first win of the season. He's going to feel absolutely fantastic, especially with yesterday, he even himself saying not the greatest of results. My friend Alan over here making his way to try and get that pole position interview, but I'm going to have to take it off him. Do you reckon if I play with his iPad a bit, then he might not notice if I just tap him on the shoulder here? No. Fantastic. The team all around here cheering on as come on. We need to, even if Alan's in first, we need to get this on film. Come on. Elated for Steve. The team very, very happy. I don't even think Steve knew he was going to get that, to be honest. Let's have a word actually with Stuart Oliver. Whole race, fantastic race. He'll be thrilled. 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. Just get this on clipped. Oh, Stuart Oliver, absolutely fantastic race there. I'll tell you what, all happened in the last 2 laps really, didn't it?
I did. I think there was a bit of oil or fuel or something was down and it just got a bit leery, but...
no idea where that came from.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Change.
Not guilty, Your Honour. No, but no, it was good. Yeah, Steve drove a good race, but I had the legs on him, but he had the grip out of the corners, but on the brakes, everybody... He defended well and we never had any damage, so happy with that, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic result. I mean, yeah, the checkered flag was a bit of a confusion point though, wasn't it?
I believe so. Simon came on the radio. He says, ignore that flag. It happened. It finished the lap before. I said, oh, that's different. I've never done that before. But no, it was good. So that, I presume Steve has won the race.
He has. He's got the first place trophy. Yeah.
Oh well, he might buy a drink then.
You never know.
You never know. Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened.
Stuart, absolutely congratulations. Well done to you, sir. Alan's finished with Steve Powell now. So you stay up there with the bird's eye view, and we'll try and get a good angle. Steve, how the devil are we?
Oh,
I take it you're aware you got the first place now, yes?
I was blocking right, and we had a bit of do, stood in front of him. Matt said, on the road, you've gone first, so I lifted. Then I come around a bit wide, there's no red flags, and I sort of crapped myself a bit. And yeah, mate, what a race. Yeah.
You've definitely found your form today, haven't you? I mean, you know, yesterday you weren't terribly impressed with yourself. You know, we could hear it in your voice. You were hoping for more, and I feel like today, what a fantastic start. I mean, you'd done Paul Rivette before the first corner by the looks of it.
I mean, we knew we had the boost on Paul, unfortunately, but we knew he was half second off the pace. We've now found that. The boys worked till 10, 11 o'clock last night on a new cowling. It's a new lorry, but for me, for the boys and the family and everyone, I'm so happy for them. And for me, it's like, I just need a drink. I've got to throw on.
You do, yeah. You've done well. You've done well. That was 15 minutes of pure adrenaline, hard slog. Well done, Ash. Well done to the team. We can see they're on their way back down to the Parc Fermé now, which of course is back down in the outer paddock, which means a lot of the teams, including myself, have got a bit of walking to do. So thank you for joining me for the first race of the day. What a fantastic result for Steve Powell, and we'll catch it with you after the lunch break.